The Rebbe in the Sikha now proceeds to dismantle the suggested explanation for Rashi's commentary to Vayikra 6:7, the V'zot Torat HaMincha, but before doing so, a quick review of the material covered up until this point in time might be useful. We began with the text recorded in Vayikra 6:2, a continuation of the laws relating to the Korban Olah, and those laws are introduced with the words Zot Torat HaOlah, a format that is to be found a mere 9 times in the Chamisha Chumshei Torah, 3 in Bamidbar, 6 in Vayikra. All 9 times introduce a particular category of Korban. Rashbam seems not to have a difficulty with this textual anomaly when he suggests that the translation of this phrase would be these are additional laws relating to the Korban Olah. Rashi, on the other hand, provides a definition for the Zot Torat HaOlah, offering a midrashic interpretation that the expression comes to add material that is not explicitly stated in the text. We then looked at the Torat Kohanim, the source for Rashi's commentary. The Torat Kohanim provides 2 Tanaic options as to the understanding of the phrase Zot Torat HaOlah, one from Rabbi Yehuda, the other from Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Yehuda's reading of the text is that it comes to limit, to exclude, situations where the Korban has become invalid, such as a nighttime shchita, the blood designated for the sprinkling upon the Mizbeach has been misplaced, or the blood has been removed from the Mishkan perimeter. Rabbi Shimon takes a polar opposite position and maintains that the phrase expands, includes not just the 3 situations that Rabbi Yehuda excludes, but adds another 15 disqualifiers, that if the meat of any of these invalid korbanot were placed upon the Mizbeach, that meat may not be removed. That a single law applies to the Olah offering, both the valid and the invalid. This brought us to the commentary that Rashi provides to Vayikra 6:7, V'zot Torat HaMincha, where he offers the same interpretation for this format that he presented in his commentary to Vayikra 6:2, namely, that the Korban Mincha of a Kohen, while only one of the 3 components are mentioned by the text, the flour, must also have the 2 other components, the oil and the spices. That the Korban Mincha of a Kohen was to have the same ingredients as the Korban Mincha of a non-Kohen. This led the Rebbe to note the core anomaly with respect to Rashi's commentary to the V'zot Torat HaMincha, in that for the remaining 3 instances in which a Korban is introduced with this format, Zot Torat, Rashi does not offer any commentary. Hence the question, if no commentary was required for these 3, why does Rashi feel the need to offer a commentary to the V'zot Torat HaMincha of Vayikra 6:7? The Rebbe entertained the possibility that there was a need for Rashi to provide a commentary in order to reject an alternative option and interpretation that is found in the Gemara Menachot, that addresses the status of the residual flour and meat brought as part of a Korban Asham, a sin offering. And in order to reject that alternative interpretation for the V'zot Torat HaMincha, Rashi felt compelled to provide a commentary to this phrase from the standpoint of the Pshuta Shel Mikra. We concluded with an explanation as to why Rashi rejects the Gemara's interpretation on the V'zot Torat HaMincha. This was because the halacha regarding the residual components of the Korban Asham being allocated to the Kohen had already been established by the text. In Vayikra 5:13, the segment discussing the Korban Chatat, in which the text equates the Korban Chatat with the Korban Mincha, and Rashi accepts the drash that this comparison informs us that just as the Korban Mincha, where the residual portions not designated for the Mizbeach are retained by the officiating Kohen, so too with a Korban Mincha brought as a sin offering. And therefore, Rashi is obligated, at least from the standpoint of the Pshuta Shel Mikra, to offer an alternative interpretation for the Zot Torat HaMincha of Vayikra 6:7. As noted from the very outset, this at best was a possible response, And therefore we will now look at why the Rebbe feels that all of the above is problematic, and therefore we need to take a very different approach for the seemingly superfluous commentary by Rashi to the Vizot Torah Mincha.